Hello, everyone. Welcome to MKPS Final 8. We're chugging along here. I'm Eirik. I'm joined by Jaggy. Jaggy, how are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. I'm ready to see this this rivalry going on here between CB and PT.
Yeah, it'll be an exciting one. I mean, this is the first round of the losers side of the top 8 here. And you talked about a rivalry a little bit, Jaggy. Talk a bit more maybe about what that entails.
CB and PT, they had a little bit of a rivalry going on, whether it was competitive or it was personal. I don't think it was that personal, but it was mainly just a competitive rivalry because both of these teams scrimmaged each other virtually every single day back in the spring split era. And they met twice in the spring split, once in the group stage, in which CB got the upper hand in that one. And then PT had a chance to redeem themselves when they met again in the playoffs, but once again, it was CB that came out on top. And after that, though, Phantasmagoria started to recover a little bit, and they faced Charge Brigade a few more times in the side tournaments, and PT got the upper hand on all of those. I don't know if it was 2 or 3 times that they met. It's either 3-2 PT or 2-2 in the head-to-head. So both teams, you know, trading off matches a little bit, and what more than to face in the biggest tournament of MKW so far, the MKPS Final 8 tournament here. In the losers bracket, by the way, win or go home for both of these teams.
So I will call attention to the fact that we'll be having a dual POV for this stream, which will be pretty exciting. Being able to take a look into, from PT's side, I believe it is Alex, and Charge Brigade's side, their Tricks, both pretty stellar players in their own rights. Will be exciting to take a look back and forth. As I mean, the action, everything that's happening is very moment to moment, so we'll need to get every single bit that we can get.
And Jazz, of course, will have his bagging POV just in case he wants to provide more insight, or just in case we want to show more insight in the bagging battle. So we've got plenty of streams going around, and hopefully we'll be able to cover it as best as we can. We may be a little bit rusty in the dual POV sense, but you know, I don't think Eirik's gonna struggle too much. He's like probably the best caster we have.
I think I appreciate it. You know, winner's clutching. Winner's clutching. I have faith in winner here. So for Charge Brigade, let's take a look at the lineup coming up here. Christian, Derek, Trick, Zero, Prove. What jumps out to you first here? Obviously, a lineup and a team in generally full of veterans here.
I'd say Kristen jumps out here. He hasn't had too much shine in the top echelon of play. He has been in CB for a while now, don't get me wrong. It's not like he's just being thrown into the Sharks. He's been playing in a lot of scrims with them for at least a year now. But he hasn't had too much exposure in the big stage. Usually that fourth runner would be someone like Wally. But there's a lot of pressure on Christian right now. And I'd say, you know, another key player that we have to look at here, of course, you know, Trix is always going to be one of their key players, but Zero. Zero's very up and down, but when he's on his day, he's a very, very annoying player to play against. You know, he's very good pack. I don't want to pin a role to a certain player, but
but they know how to do what to do.
Right. When he's in the pack, though, he's fairly annoying to play against. But when he's up there running, when he's on his day too, he'll be dangerous too, like with the BC Week glitch. Or with DKM, one of his stronger tracks. He has certain tracks that he shines in. So if Zero's on his day today, then Charge Brigade will be there will be up and running.
It will be interesting to see how they mesh with this lineup. Is obviously best of 3, still plenty of time, whether to sub or to recover individually over an you know, one game or even the first 2 games you play. So it's interesting. It'll be always it's always interesting to see how teams adapt and play around it. And maybe if we can get a look at PT's lineup, we can get a better look into what's going on over here for the folks in gray. It's Alex, of course, the streamer for our PT side here, followed by Derek, Matt, Verley, and Jazz. And I think often when talking about PT, it's hard to ignore talking without talking about Jazz.
Absolutely, yeah. Jazz he's just been such a consistent, solid bagger throughout his tenure in PT, and even before he joined PT too, he was a very good bagger. But ever since the World Cup, he has really shined, and he has been in the GOAT bagger picture. Maybe not greatest of all time, but he is certainly making a case for that as each season goes on. He's getting better and better, and it's going to be a tough task for Prove, although Prove himself is not a bad bagger either. So anything can happen, especially in a very volatile scene in bagging. Sometimes, you know, bagging is very volatile. Also, I would like to point out Matt getting the call once again to start for Phantasmagoria. A lot of pressure, I'd say, is going to be put on Matt as he didn't have the best performance last time out, and he hasn't had too much exposure in league matches. He has been in PT's roster for a while now, but hasn't played too much.
Sure.
So I'd say him and Kristen are two of the players that are going to be having a lot of pressure put on them. Although Matt is not a player to scoff at when he is on his day.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And it'll be interesting to see if he, what happens with him over the course of the match. If we notice that same kind of play, what's the move there? I feel like PT is plenty ready, maybe with a substitute to offer for that, but maybe not. Maybe some people's schedules are a little bit off for this one. It is a Sunday, so you would like to think that most people are available.
I'm not sure. I'm honestly not sure what's happened to Casper, because he is still in the roster. I'm not sure if he's going to transfer out after this particular tournament, but he's still in the roster. I feel like they would benefit from having someone like him consistently in the front, but they still have Alex, they still have Verley, who are decent runners in their own right. But I'd say both, the key for either side here is just consistency in the running, because both teams have a decent ceiling, but they also have a low floor. I mentioned that a few times in previous casts, but I don't think it's more true than in this particular match with both sides. So whoever's more consistent in the running today, I feel like that may overshadow the shot count, although we saw Phantasmagoria using a lot of good shots when they did have it against Metro Wipeout. So we'll see what happens. Anything can happen in this one. Predictions, who do you got?
For me, I mean, given the rivalry here, I'd like to think it's going to be something like a 2-1, but if I had to give it to someone in particular, probably CB. I feel like the peaks we've seen with them as a team generally, at least me individually, has been. I think they can do better in a follow-up match than maybe PT could against. You know, talking about who they have to play after this is likely Wallywogs, I believe.
Well, Wallywogs will be playing Ethereal, I believe, in the winners side.
Oh, gotcha.
Wallywogs came off a win against Avail, and Ethereal came off 2-1. It was a 2-1 actually against Extendash. Extendash took the second match, but the loser of that match will play the winner of this match in the losers bracket.
Yeah, either way, the team that they're going to have to play in the next round is obviously going to be very difficult. And I mean, they're all stellar teams, but I just have this feeling that CB can put up more than just a fight in whatever opponent they face up next.
Yeah, I got a 2-1 as well, but in the end, I'm going to say that Phantasmagoria are going to edge it out here. And I don't like to look at patterns. I don't want to use patterns too much to predict the next match that's going to happen. But CB in their last outing against Kanatola Gaming, they were very subpar. And you did mention that they do have good bounce back ability, but just knowing that they didn't have the best performance against KG and that Phantasmagoria did put up a fight against MW, almost winning that second match, just kind of fizzling out at the very end.
Yeah, it makes me wonder about the importance of being one, right?
I do think recency bias is a thing in this game, because Mario Kart Wii is a game, although it is a little bit luck-based at times, it is a game in which you have to make sure you stay consistent if you want to remain in the top echelon of this game, because this game has evolved so much within the past year and a half, and it requires teams to be very consistent, and I feel that Phantasmagoria will edge it out here. I feel like it'll be 2-1 for PT.
All right, well, for starting positions, we're going to have Trix up in the front as the host. Alex and Verley are going to be tasked with having 2 and 4, obviously very important. The top 2 folks on each person's, each team is going to be relatively important and inform their course selection. So we'll see where that goes for them as we have our players up and ready. It looks like Trix and the team are looking at Maple Trueway for the cup here as we get into race 1. CB, PT, curious for everyone's predictions in the chat. What are y'all thinking? What are y'all supporting? What's your brain telling you? Yes, but your heart's telling you no. Let us know in chat box or on Twitter. if you can, tag us as well there at, I believe. Actually, no, I'm gonna get this one wrong, so I'm just gonna make sure I get the Twitter. Okay, it is just slash Mario Kart Boys. Sick.
Okay, yeah, so KC coming out here, fairly interesting. Usually PT picks this when they are in 246, and it's not a bad track to pick when you're 246, but I find it interesting that they are usually pretty adamant to pick this track. It just speaks volumes of how confident they are in this particular track.
Yeah, absolutely. That's triple reds and the shroom for our streamers to start off with. Obviously, the red's going to be more than acceptable considering you're going to be able to shroom butt into the enemy team and be able to red not okay just about just one person there, but still plenty of work being done here by Trix on the left side. It gets a nice mega now, has that right next to Alex on the right side. So our streamers in some close contested spots here. Lap one so important.
134 it looks like for PT, right?
Yeah, and lap one obviously for Kuba Cape, so important to be able to get up at the front. Obviously not irreversible damage, but especially around this turn, being able to break away from here, you're able to generally hold on to leads a decent amount of time.
Right, and that was such an important star drop too. There could have been a 50-50 decision whether Alex or Matt would have taken that star, but in the end it was Matt taking it, so now a top 2, and it looks like Derek actually took the Shroomba with the red. So that is a necessary play in order to try to break up the top spots, but it's still a top 2 for PT. Blue comes in though.
Yeah, Blue will get PT down, at least whittle down some of their offense, but Derek says no to that. Never mind on you being able to get back as CB. This is still going to be 1-3-4 for PT this whole time, despite the blue shell. We don't know what exactly is happening with the bagging battle in the back, but Jaggy, if you could lend some eyes there. Ooh, Fib coming down on Alex. It's going to hurt PT a little bit.
Actually, Derek backed his, he had 2 greens revolving around him, and he backed 2 of them in a space that was fairly easy to maneuver around. I would have liked to seen him wait until the stream section where it was more narrow, but what would you do with this mega if you're Trix, actually? Neither has a shot.
He's apparently going to use it now in prediction, I think, of PT, so maybe just anticipating the worst, really. That's the best information he can get maybe from his bagger right now, so that alone says enough. And PT's going to go ahead and dodge. That's Matt in the star, holding it for... Actually, I can't even really tell if he held it for too long, but he's going to be able to move through the grass and help get... I think the table's kind of turned here. CB had 1-3-4.
Getting up to first right now. I'm not sure if he actually got first. No, he's still in only 5th right now, actually, from Trix's POV.
Yeah, so Alex, having fallen behind, probably going to end up with a place at the significant gap, so we're going to focus here on Trix. Green does come out. Star! Okay, yeah, Derek is going to be able to get that drop by his bagger, but will it be enough? The Shroom is able to... Clutch bomb for him. Trix knows it's over, and that's CB at least saying goodbye to one of their middle spots. Still, though, I think PT generally able... Actually, I wasn't able to catch the results of what was going on at the top there, so I'm not sure how that transpired, but I think it's a relatively even race, especially thanks to that bomb.
It was hard to see what happened in the end, but that was such a poggers chain there from Derek. But yeah, that shock didn't really do as much as I thought it would. I didn't see Matt get up there too heavily. I think he might have gotten a bad chain in the end, maybe a blooper or power or whatnot. And yeah, he only finished 5th out of that. And that was a good recovery there from CB, because it was a top 2-4, and then a blue came in lap 2, but still 1-3-4. I would like to mention, maybe if Derek was a little bit better with his back spams lap 2, it could have been a different story. But
but either way, we still have a 1-point differential here between the two teams. It's CB obviously that comes out with the slight edge, but yeah, I'm sure if you're CB, you're definitely happy with that match. You maybe left wondering, what could have happened if because they did have 1-3-4 going in the last lap. Could have been even better, but still, you'll take that, especially as it gives you a little bit more authority over influencing the track pick, or at least having a more substantial outcome from a track pick. So DDR coming out as the pick, I believe, from CB, and 64BC coming out from PT.
Yeah, fair. I mean, if you're 2-4-5, RBC is not that bad, but 1-3 has the ability to swerve and prevent the draft. So CB, I believe, still are in position to dictate the pace, even if it is RBC, but it is DDR that comes out.
So we'll see here. Alex going to head it up at the back of the pack, which isn't really that bad. Being able to at least make sure you get a decent item box most of the time. And we'll see here. what that translates into for him. 7th place box to start off with. Triple Shrooms, great item. You could do more with it though. I think that's what he's thinking as well. He's gonna go for a chain here and see what can he do. More Triple Shrooms, why not? Fortunate enough, and I don't think you press your luck too much at that point. So 5th place, you'll be content enough to hold that. Meantime, Tricks here, comfortable enough position, not really quite getting the wall glitch. It's fine. Still have plenty of time to really get back to business here. If you're the baggers, obviously that turn with the sand, very pesky sometimes. It looks like one bagger is going to get a clear lead here, although that happened in 40 seconds, so I think they might have been going forward after getting a box, maybe have shock.
Prove got the first box in 10th, and that was it. That proved to be the lucky 8-ball box, as he does have the shock right now, I believe. What
a huge pow, though, from Tricks to be able to make sure they won't have any dodges to spare, at least. That's a lot of just good peace of mind, really, for CB, knowing that, I mean, they're all on the same page. They know who has shock here at this point, so now they can better strategize.
Ooh, Tricks with the star. When they have the shock, though, I'm interested to see what they're going to do with this. What do you think would be the play?
I mean, I haven't seen a single PT member. Okay, never mind. I think I might see a PT member back here. If that's the case, I think maybe PT, if they don't have first and they're using this, oh, they can't be using this soon because the one person they had back here is going to golden through the ultra shortcut. Nobody in middle spot's really doing too much with it. That's actually Alex going to use the in the star and actually going to dodge in it pretty late there. So perfect shot for PT.
That is very
perfect though.
That is very bizarre because I saw it prove going forward at 40 seconds. I thought for sure he might have had the shot there, but I guess not. I've been proven wrong there.
And that's Alex with a nice dodge here, but will it be enough to be able to catch him? Just barely avoids the red on the inside of that. PT 2, 3, 4, 5, and CB has one soul remaining. Oh, and it's the blue shell that's going to catch on. I think PT could be able to get top 4 here if it's not for a star coming in at the very end. Tricks, what can you do? That's a clutch ass first coming out for him.
Very clutch, yeah, indeed. But I'm not sure. Did you see what happened in the bagging battle? Because I saw Prove go forward, and I did not see him use a bill. So I'm really stumped, honestly, by what just transpired there.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't. I don't have the answers here today, at least at this minute. But all I know is that see, that could have been a pretty catastrophic race to start off with in a match like this, where a lot of these races are going to be single point differentials or close to that, and yeah, it could have been bad. But Trick's able to clutch it up with triple shrooms. You like to see that. Your CB, and still the war remains relatively intact.
Certainly, and yeah, both teams. Even though it is only 2 races in, it's too early to say what's going to happen. Too small of a sample size. But both teams kind of mixing up the spots, going back and forth. We saw PT early in KC with top spots, but then CB managed to scrape some top spots at the end. And then CB starting off with top spots here, PT scraping them in the end. So this is the kind of back and forth match you like to see from a rivalry like this.
Well, what's the pick for after here? I mean, it's 2, 3, 4, 5. Any insight on your end, Jaggy? What a team like PT might want to go here?
This is where you pick RBC, if I'm honest, because if something happens to first, like let's just say they swerve, but then second place gets a little bit, or they get a little bit of a lag start, and second place overtakes. That's when RBC would benefit them. They can get the drafts off on second and third, can let 4, 5 draft, and yeah, they are pulling the trigger on that. BC3 coming out for CB here.
And we'll see what it turns into for them. Obviously, BC3 pretty hectic, so can be one of the more less predictable ones we generally see. Bagging battle, as always, important, but you get I feel like, yeah, a better visual. The map, being able to look at it, you can key in generally better to who will have the shock at a given moment. PT going to start with top 3. Apparently, maybe a bad start on Trix's part.
And a bad start on Alex's part, too. Not getting a draft on Burley. I thought for sure he was going to at least try to draft him, but still, Zero that's going to be shrooming up there. Gets caught with the bomb right after, though. How do you like it?
We really do love that. That's my favorite meal of the day, is being able to eat a bomb, at least. Alex starting off great here in first place. And we'll have some competition, of course. We'll want to bring that in as soon as they get it. Yep, and unfortunately for him, Christian zooming on ahead at the Rosalina on the right side. Another bomb.
Side snipe onto Trix there as he was coming up. That was a really good snipe for them. 2-3. for PT there. We also saw Derek shrimming up. So spots have been changing hands a lot so far in this particular. Another bomb, because why not?
Why not? Another one. Please eat it. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
What is
Ooh,
this? I don't...
That's, okay, that's their beggar. Cool.
I don't... Go ahead.
CB, yeah, no. I mean, the bombs, just the number of bombs we've seen already, kind of insane. But CB with the edge here after it's all said and done, at least after one lap. Alex the only seeming to be representative from PT here. So does have triple bananas at a great intersection, but doesn't quite land them. Still has a straightaway, but chooses not to use them here. Still plenty of options here with the ramps coming up to maybe get some decent vantage points on the Christian here, who you talked about a little bit as being kind of not necessarily a question mark, but you could definitely see being the fourth.
Yeah, he has a lot of pressure put on him, of course, as he hasn't had too much experience so far in the top echelon of play, but so far proving his worth. So CB worked 2-3-4 for a while and tricks a bomb snipe right onto him. From that was I couldn't see. I think it might have been Derek. His name didn't pop up. So it was Matt actually. Good bomb snipe from Matt.
Nice. Yeah, PT now in some okay spots. I think even spots, 2-4-6, something like that. Shock is going to come out, and that's Verley in the dodge. The Australian coming in through for that's PT, and that's two dodges. It seems like a bomb again on top of tricks. He's got to be laughing. Okay, maybe not laughing about the amount of bombs he's hit, but or not. Whatever. Either way. PT, second place, just behind, it seems like a CB member, but if so, that's a lot of PT members behind. Yeah, Christian, a job well done on Christian's part. So far, the story seems to be at least one member with Charge Brigade having success, relatively. We almost saw a little bit of
Derek with the schlag on the line, right on the Derek, solidifying their 2-3-4. I think Derek was shrimming up in that case, so that was a clutch schlag there in the end.
Interesting. We'll have to see what the results look like coming up, but a good bounce back here, I believe, for, or maybe it might even be a similar result that we saw like compared to like race 1, for example.
Right. And that shock, it pretty much solidified some top mid spots for PT, but they were not able to catch up to Kristen as he developed a breakaway early and just back spammed, developed a little bit more of a breakaway in that sense. 2-3-4, essentially damage control there for PT. And I will look at the bagging battle real quick in the VOD to see what exactly happened. But yeah, this war so far has been very back and forth, especially with the amount of bombs that has been pulled. I mean, it's absolutely criminal how many bombs were pulled that race. All right, 85-98. We got a 13-point lead for Phantasmagoria here. And so yeah, from the looks of it, Prove was winning out in the bagging battle going into lap 2. And he ended up pulling a couple of 10th place boxes in the end. But Jazz ended up overtaking him. I believe Prove did pull a bill in the end. And that's the one box that Jazz needed in order to get the shock. So unfortunately, I think my boy Eirik has just died temporarily. So we'll see what comes out here. We do see a Sherbet Land coming out here from PT. Sherbet Land, a lot more of a popular track in 2020 than in 2019 and 2018. But BC3 is going to be the fate that we have put on our hands here. And in this particular track, for PT side, I know Alex is decent at the Ultra, but other than that, they don't really have too much solidity behind that. As for CB, I believe they're a little bit more consistent at it. Zero doesn't go for it that much. He usually focuses on blocking the Ultra more than anything. And I think that's what they might end up doing in the end with Kristen holding this fib out. He's going to be blocking the cut, and I think CB are just going to opt to block the Ultra here. Let's see. Zero will actually be going for it instead of blocking it. Will he make it in the end? Does not make it, and that could prove to be a turning point for this race. Derek does make it though, so not too bad. It's a really good snipe in the end, but Alex did have that trim to back him up there. As I sit waiting, I'm like, please come back, Eirik, please. But as for right now, in terms of the bagging battle, Jazz is winning out. Prove just sitting there trying not to star the runners, which will only make him fall even further behind, even if Jazz pulls a bill here, which he's not going to. This Zero was forced out of it. Interesting exchange here. I'm going to see what's going to happen. The cut was not blocked Even though Derek did pull triple nanas, I think he pulled triple nanas on the last ramp.
Oh, well, yeah, that was really interesting, actually, what Derek did there to Alex. He had triple bananas and kind of almost like slowed down. Like, I guess he was getting an item box, maybe just got something there, or he slowed down to like fake, like he was, you know, saw the red, didn't want to get redded, but he actually had triple bananas to be able to pull out and get him, which worked out well for him. Derek, I've generally seen just do so well. BC3, it seems like it's one of his bread and butter tracks. But it will be PT right now, at least with, I believe, the 1-3 going into last lap. Any eyes and ears on the shock situation right now?
I believe right now Jazz may be in possession of it, although I think he's actually still chaining, so it may be shockless. Kristen getting TC'd and sniped. Or actually, no, that was
interesting.
And
yeah, Blue Shell, it does pick up the ground. Shroom Alex on our right side here, so he's gonna be able to move into second. I think he may have taken Verley's item box. Either way, with the Shroom having enough room to maybe catch up here to Norm, it's Derek here for CB, but that's triple greens. He's gonna have to dance and avoid here. That's a POW last turn, and yep, that just wanting to get that Shroom, kind of being a little bit greedy there and wanting to get it off before the POW. Could have just taken the wider line.
And that, okay, it looks like Verley got bombs. It's not going to matter too much in the end, but
1-4 for CB.
It was high risk, but also at the same time, there wasn't too much he could have lost from that because it was PT in a 2-3 break there. I think he was predicting the POW to hit before the back spam, so he would have like gotten powered over the back spams, but a little bit unfortunate that the POW even happened there because I know Alex is one to avoid back spams pretty well, so he probably would have shroomed past Derek there without the POW, and he would have had a lot of work to do still to avoid the snipe incoming, but the POW came in. And 1-4-7-8 for CB. Zero missed the Ultra lap 1. I thought for sure he was going to block the Ultra as Kristen had a fib to block the cut with, but instead he went for it and missed it, and after that he couldn't recover. Usually Zero does get top 2 or bottom 2 spots in this track.
Well, that will be the I believe the GP here for our stream, and that's a result that has PT out at the start of it with by, what is it, 16 points. Looking pretty good for them, and a great start that puts the lower seeded team ahead of Charge Brigade here. First GP. Surprised, not necessarily, at least personally. PT, I feel like in every match, well, in all of the games that we saw so far in their first set, definitely showed that they are able to like put up the fight, right? But being able to like actually lock it out in the final GPs is what's been the concern with them, it feels. So we'll see if they can right that wrong, so to speak, going into the last 2 GPs of game 1 here. Certainly.
And yeah, and the substitution that came in for Phantasmagoria was I believe Verley, because Crow played last time out, and he did good in flashes, but Phantasmagoria, they need consistent running solidity, and I feel like Crow, while he is a good player, he's not one of the more consistent players in this roster. So Phantasmagoria, hopefully they'll be able to erase the pattern that they've kind of had in the past of playing well one GP and then falling out the next, or not starting out as well as they would like. So let's see what happens here. MT coming out, of course, that is the quintessential 135 track pick, but in the end it does come out with Maple Treeway.
Yeah, if I remember, that's CV track pick for sure.
Trick's easily a top 3 player in the community in this particular track, so it's going to be very hard to get him out of first. So if they can't get him out of first in the first couple of boxes with like a red or a snipe or something, it's going to be very hard to get him out. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, like many tracks, the first bit being pretty important, but especially a track like Maple Treeway without any obvious. Ooh, that's going to be an interesting red that lands on him, and exactly what you don't want to see. Obviously, you're really good. You're going to be able to find a way back probably, but as soon as I say that, a TC to add and rub a little bit of salt in the wound there.
Mario Kart Gods is on PT side right now, it seems, in this particular race. Yeah, that's what they needed. They needed to get Trix out of first immediately, and outside of Trix's first, it doesn't look like they have too much solidity behind that, as PT do have a top 2 right now.
Yeah, but I mean, for Tricks to at least get an 8th place something here. Again, it's hard to see bagging in general, but the bagging battle seems like a bit of a stalemate. No one really driving too far ahead.
Jazz is winning out right now. Proof fell off. You know that branch section where you have to hop on the branch?
Yep.
He fell off there, and at times the physics there can be weird. And so it allowed Jazz to get 2 boxes in 10th instead of 1. I'm not sure if he has the shock as of yet, though.
Gotcha. Yeah. Well, we'll see. I feel like it's just going to be a lap 3 shock anyway, regardless. No, that TC pass isn't going to work, I guess. Yeah, bye. Yeah, whatever.
I was about to say clutch backspam from Kristen, but again, the Mario Kart gods on PT's side there. The lag pass TC wasn't a thing in the end, as of course Verley is from the country of Australia. That is going to prove to be an advantage for him.
We talked a little bit about interesting, like looking out to see how important the first GP would be, especially from CB's behalf. Like the way they moved between and responded from game 1 to game 2 of their last set, like it wasn't positive. And then obviously GP2 starting off with a PT top 2 when you're already losing is a little bit difficult. Alex, great position, but Tricks in the star now, looking for a dodge of any kind if possible. But it seems like that signals to us that maybe Jazz did doing his job.
He was maneuvering his way around the runners in the middle of the Wiggler section, so he is in possession of it right now. And what I think they're going to do is just dodge 1 or 2 people outside, as they are in bottom 2, if I'm not mistaken, right now.
No, it looks like CB has 5, 6, 7, and PT and 8. Matt might be able to get. Well, probably not. He's pretty far back at this point. And it makes me think. I mean, I know you talked a little bit about Matt coming in struggling maybe a little bit, or is going to have something to prove. And at least in the racing and PTS department, it's going to struggle for this race a bit. But I think what Matt adds is certainly more than those points. Certainly a lot of things to consider when you're considering your lineup and who's going to be in it and not. But either way, PT top 2-4, I think.
That was all Jazz. I'd say that was all Jazz. Very consistent throughout that race in the backward strat, securing the shock. And of course, why not the Fib red combo? And Trix wasn't able to recover after that.
Well, we will move on to the next race. And so far, PT, I wouldn't have tied them for it, but doing a number here on CB, at least, as the first team to really strike. Still waiting on a better reaction from CB's behalf, and for more interactions with Shock, really.
Yeah, you would like to have seen a little bit more running solidity in that particular race, because once Trix was out, it seemed like CB had no answer to that. And that can happen if third place hops and cut and they get an item, a subpar item in like 5th or 6th, which could have been the case there. But generally speaking, it would have been nice to see CB up there to try to back up Trix in case something magical happens like that. Right. TF comes out. If it does come out here with TF, then I can see PT starting to run away with this. This is bad for CB.
TF, okay. Well, we'll see as soon as I'm gonna finish a nugget, but as soon as this race lows, we'll see if PT can really use the kind of lead that they've generated here in the spots they do have well.
Yeah, there's nothing better in life than to eat chicken nuggets while watching an MKPS match, honestly. That's the best. That's like the pinnacle of life right there. But let's see. Yeah, Derek getting a draft early on. He's going to be the important piece here. He's going to have to do something, whether it's a sniper, maybe a backspam on Verley. He doesn't have to. Okay, that's a really good back there from Derek right as I say that. And a backspam on the Trix as well. I think Norm just kind of went wide there, and unfortunately that red hit the blind spot from Trix there.
Yeah.
If you're Norm here, yeah, I was gonna say, do you think you should just try to snipe Alex's, or maybe CB should just try to cycle for boxes or something? What do you think?
Yeah, I know, it's definitely cycle for boxes at this point, because top 2 breaking away on TF is not something. I mean, this gap between top 5 and bottom 5 is kind of ridiculous. Like, even the shock might not even really do much at all. I'd say if a best bet at actually catching a pack up will be like shocking, probably here at the mud. or somewhere around it where they can chain into last set boxes. But it's hard to say what the spots are. Really interesting pathing on Alex's part to at least make, you know, this game is bumpy and weird sometimes, and sometimes you just aren't on the right line, and it's just like that. And Alex at least able to survive it.
Yeah, I like that Derek allowed Alex to get into first to allow him to dodge a blue in case it comes. Almost flubbed there, but I mean, he did recover in the end, so good recovery there. And of course, Derek's slowing down a little bit to accommodate.
Blue shell's coming. Yeah, and it's perfect too. Really, top two, they're going to be able to keep it for now. CB's got to be reacting some kind of way with 3-4-5. Our blue didn't work. What do we do? I don't think there's going to be a shot. Okay, then. Shock is going to come out in time. It's going to get a few people at the end. Oh, wow. PT's going to actually lose out on their first place. I didn't actually catch you.
Collapsed there from Kristen. Yeah, CB were holding mid spots the entire race, so they weren't really in risk of. They weren't in a position to get bombed or anything like that. So they just kept cycling boxes. They did cycle a blue in the end. They cycled a mega, and in the end, clutch shock from Prove there. Even though it is a 50-50 match there, I think Jazz went backward around lap 2 to try to bait, but Prove did not fall for that bait and ended up pulling the shock.
Yeah. So really, Christian, job well done. That could have been significantly worse there, but now instead CB able to start reeling themselves back. It's a +7 win on the race. So if nothing else, keeping it a tight affair, and that's all you can really hope for and ask for on CB's behalf at this point.
1-4-5 though, and TF is already chalked off. What do you think is the move here?
I don't know. At this point, a lot of times it just comes to preference. I feel like we've played through a decent. I mean, we haven't seen, I think, BCW question mark.
We have not seen BCW, no.
Okay, yeah, might be a decent one to start off with.
And PT struggle in BCW usually. They don't have someone that's super consistent with the glitch. They do have 1 or 2 people that can go for it if necessary. Derek is one of those players, but he's not super consistent at it. So
they're gonna go for Mushroom Gorge though.
Yeah.
And Mushroom Gorge and Grumble. All right. This is some kind of energy being sent from these two teams. If nothing else, very chaotic energy. It's dice roll simulators in a lot of respects. We're just gonna wait on the last player here.
Maybe more so in Mojo, though, I'd say.
Yeah, I suppose so. Dice roll simulator. It'll always be that in my heart. But I understand that, like, yeah, at the team's level, sure. CB, a love for this track that will, give them the win more than the loss, sure. But sometimes this course can just do some of the darnest things.
Certainly. I'm trying to think. Yeah, I was gonna say CB or Trix could maybe try to get a draft onto Derek, as he did try to swerve away to prevent it, but gets the draft off anyway. So good work there from Trix. Early top 2.
Yeah, easy enough. Why not? And I guess the worry is always about shock. All the more reason that the bagging battle is going to be so important. What Jazz does as well. Gets knocked up a little bit. Alex, but still fine. Still surviving, just barely with the triple shrooms that he has. Hate those bounces that you get where you can't really tell, like, am I going to skip the mushroom? Am I not? I'm going to land on the edge. But he steers through it pretty fine and is going to be able to make it at least within vision's distance of CP. This is admittedly an intimidating start, but as soon as we say that, Blue Shell does come in fine, so
and
it's in a pretty good position here.
Okay, I thought he was off there. He was very close to getting off the track there, but Kristen's still alive, and he is, I mean, not bad for Kristen. He could still pull a Mega or Shrooms to turn CB's race back around.
Yeah.
But in terms of the bagging battle, Jazz is winning out, in position to pull the shock here. If he does pull Bill, he's still most likely going to be able to fall off in 10th without having the lead overtaken.
Right. Alex, it looks okay. We're gonna have a 1v1 battle here between the two streamers. Lap 3 here. Alex doing a good job of avoiding the banana snipe, but doesn't have anything to block this red, so Alex is gonna have to eat it. And also the very disadvantageous part of the track, opting to go to the center instead of the left, where he could have maybe more easily bounced back. But no, Alex very comfortable with this as long as we're gonna hit that fib. I didn't see it coming. But unfortunately for Alex, not able to get an item box after either, so none of what you wanted to happening.
Bagging battle's neck and neck right now. Prove got the 10th place box just barely. He might have it here. Doesn't prove to be a factor in the end, though.
Yeah. So it's going to be 0 passing at the very, very, very end there for PT, or sorry, for CB, and I believe a winning race for CB. Yeah, being able to use the track to their advantage from what it seems, and no shock exactly happening. Just given the way that the item boxes and the course design works for Mushroom Gorge, it's pretty common for no shock races, I feel. And like the amount of opportunities you do have to grab a box while you're in 10th, rather slim, because like, yeah, you'll hit the first one, the first set when you're going backwards, but then you have to keep going back and back and back, and finally after like a lap or so you get it. Just a few opportunities. So yeah, no shock for either side here, and that works out for CB's favor, on at least in that race, just by a smidgen, about 9 points. So clawing back into this match, and ultimately this set again, GP1. Obviously, these matches are very long, and the more that you play, especially while you're facing a 1-0 deficit, has to be some kind of toll on you. So definitely don't want to lose out on game 1 here, and CB doing more than their part to stay in it.
Absolutely, yeah. This has been a very close affair throughout. And remember, for those of you coming in, this is the losers bracket, and it's going to be win or go home for both sides. So a lot at stake here in order to, you know, try to prove everyone wrong, or try to prove your worth of where you stand in this community. You don't want to get eliminated in losers round 1 of all places. So both teams have a lot to prove here, and that could be a reason why this match is so hotly contested. GV does come out.
Yeah. So much to really, so little to say and so much to react to probably in the next coming 40 seconds. Shrooms being obviously the most important thing, and what you're living and breathing for if you're in 5th place. So interested to see if Alex, if they're able to get an item box, great, they do. A mega, interesting to see that early, and I mean, I feel like, yeah, a chain is probably the best bet with all of CB ahead of them. That's triple reds as well. My God, it's perfect to troll, but they're going to opt to still just keep it moving. And instead put some pressure to Matt, unfortunately, through some lag. Hopefully he has some protection for TT's behalf. TC almost got onto Alex there at the end, but thankfully enough seems to land on something.
No! That's not what you want to see from Trix. He was hopping, he was aligning for the rock, spin drifted too far to the left, and he couldn't take the rock there. So only in 5th now, and that bomb's even further solidifying that top 3 for PT. Wow. Yeah,
so triple runs up for Trix is exactly what you wanted to see. Interesting that he backed the red there. I wasn't sure for what. Whatever. Blue shell does come in. Does have the red shell. Maybe combo here would be important, but no, does take the opposite path, like compared to I think the racer that got blued. Red still lands on someone though, so it actually does more damage.
That red went on a mission. It hit Alex, unfortunately, and a lot of spots being changed hands here. A lot of chaos going on.
Christian just to cut there, but no shock coming in for CB just yet. So lap 3 shock seems to be the play here, which it generally is the case unless there's a significant lead in the bagging department, which does seem like is the case currently. One bagger having influence in 10th place, definitely over the other. But a TC happening for Alex instead. So lap 3, lots happening. Alex, I think, might go down very shortly, but he's going to get the TC canceled. Red collides with him. Is going to, oh my God, how is the TC still with him? He is down and out. Blue shell followed up with by Trix. It seems like this is going to be CB's day at the shortcut.
And we'll see, and will Trix go for the star respawn here? That's the big question.
Nope. Yeah, look, it's hard to, I get it, man. He does have the shroom that maybe chained here, but I fear he's not going to have item box to get. Oh, barely gets it. Picks it up at the last second. Triple shrooms to maybe pass by 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I think that's 2nd place for Trix. They're able to clutch up with triple shrooms somehow with the pack that close.
Yeah, and that could go either way, honestly. Lag does play a factor, but I did think he snuck 2nd in the end. Unfortunately for Alex, he was trying to sneak some spots in the end, but falls into the lava, and that he is going to have 8 confirmed there. So very chaotic race, to say the least. I thought PT were going to start to run away with that, but there was a blue on the mat. There was a red from Trix that somehow got all the way up to Alex. And if you're Alex there, you know, it'd be nice to cycle for items for protection there. but I don't think he predicted that there was going to be red coming all the way, especially with that top 3 starting to break away. So CB changing that around with Kristen making the Ultra 2 very clutch in the end from him.
Well,
though.
CB did exactly what they needed to, I think. Thankfully for them, not only are they still in it, but I think applying definitely some pressure to PT's minds. I will see if they can keep up with it. Thoughts on who will pull away with this one, Jaggy?
You know, it's very close. 12-point lead for PT. And real quick, I'd like to point out, yeah, that is a good point. I mentioned how Trix maybe could have gone for the star respawn, but it is faster if you have a golden or shrooms there, and he did take the risk getting the triple shroom chain in the end, and it proved to pay off. So it's a 50-50 decision there that you want to make as a runner, and in the end, it was a 50-50 decision that he got the right one. But as for prediction here, you know, it's been fairly close. I honestly cannot give a solid prediction on this one. I'm still going to say 2-1 PT in the end, but for this particular war, I honestly have no idea.
Yeah, I really don't. Hard to say. I like the call to go around on GV. That's always one that you can play by ear and audible, but I think he probably looked at the pack and thought, okay, if I really can't just get that one item, I can maybe do some damage here, and it ended up paying off. Last 4 races, Jungle Parkway seeming to be the pick on CB's part versus Sherbetland.
They've been pulling out this track quite a bit so far in this particular war. I think a few times already they've tried to pick this and no dice, but two of the most volatile tracks in the game coming out here. And I say that Sherbetland is volatile because you can be top 3, but then, you know, someone could pull a golden in 5th and get all the way up to 1st, and someone can dodge in a star. Parkway is volatile in the sense that it is a cannon track. Any cannon track is volatile, and I'm very interested to see how this is going to turn out for CB and how well CB can hold on to the top spots, considering there are a lot of 90-degree turns that you can back around.
Well, let's see it. Alex gets to start off in 1st, and Trix sees Goober and understands the chess match ahead of him. Obviously, Jungle Parkway, the turns are a lot of 90-degree turns, a lot of difficult turns to see backspam ahead of, and a very fun backspam game you like to see played out, but especially at a high level of play. Red's going to come out the double banana to maybe sneak one by at an unsuspected position. Doesn't quite land on Trix, and Trix in a great position to maybe go for a snipe here, but decides to play it safe, especially with any reds or things that could attach to him. Green shell doesn't connect. I think Alex, yeah, anticipating that, and a slow and steady first lap here for Alex and Trix. Nothing out of the usual here for our 2 races.
Jazz winning out slightly on the bagging battle here. If he pulls a Star or Bill here, then we could see Prove overtake if he has Shrooms. And Prove did have a golden in the end, but it looks like Jazz already has it. He is running away with this. And with this top 2, this could be looking very good for PT.
Well, Trix might have something to say about it, especially with Triple Bananas. Perfect. I mean, if you're going to ask for any items before the...
do them too late, though. You got to throw them right after the turn. That's when the bananas will land tight in that case. A little bit too late on the trigger there.
Oh, and that banana being so fortunate for Matt there. It's going to at least keep their 1st place and 3rd after Derek.
Oh, this is huge. This is huge for Derek. He can maybe slow down in the cannon, preventing PT from shocking, or maybe they will shock in the end anyway. But Derek,
he doesn't slow down at all. No, I think that signals to us that they're confident they wouldn't get shocked. So maybe having a shock already. Blue shell is coming out though, so we should see that soon. From what I
maybe Jazz was falling up with Bill, actually, yeah.
Does connect, and that's a star as well. It's going to be so unfortunate for Trix. PT shock for sure. 2 stars do come in. Does have a red Alex to follow up after, and that's it really. So probably going to stick in 5th. A lot of PT up here. I think that's 2, 3, 4, 5, or maybe even better than that. At least 3, 4, 5, maybe. Oh, but Charge Brigade still having at least 2nd. Is this Shroom going to do enough damage here? I don't think it's going to pass Derek, but still great shock usage on their part.
Absolutely.
To keep it close.
Right. They had, I mean, if they used the shock in the cannon, it had to be split second perfect to dodge the 2-3 and get both first and fourth out of cannon there, but they opted not to press their luck there. They opted to hold it a little bit longer, which in the end it was the safe play, and I guess it was the better play in that scenario.
I feel like this is going to be one of those matches where we go into the last race and it's going to be one of those like 5-point affairs and we're not going to know what's going to happen. It's going to be one of those, I feel. PT at least get the win here, but from everything I've seen, I'm hopeful for CB to be able to catch up. PT is going to win that one by a decent bit, actually, really. 1, 3, 4, 5 is nothing to scoff at. 39, I think, 40 to 21, so plus 19.
Yeah.
So CB has a ways to go here, and how they responded to just what just happened is so significant. This might be the most important race of the war.
100%. Well, it'll be the most telling race, if not important. I mean, it is going to be important, but this is going to be a telling sign of what's to come. If PT can get at least a +9, +11 race, that could be wraps. If CB get at least a +7 race, then they're very much back in this. If it's neutral, it's a little iffy, but PT will still most likely take it. So GCNMC, fairly volatile track pick here, maybe a sign of desperation, although they do like this track pick in general, so I don't think it's desperation at all.
Moonview is the move, apparently, and that's going to land in favor of the folks picking it. So yeah, again, 3 more races, plenty of time to catch up, but CB's really got to turn the dial in the on position now.
Absolutely. And CB need to make the start of this race a very hectic one. They need to start off with a cyclone of item spams and shroom spams. They need to do whatever they can.
And what a perked item to get. If you can use it properly, I don't know if you use it properly.
No.
It's going to go off into the far left. Tricks, unfortunately, not going to land that one. Maybe as best as he could have. And PT should be able to continue on with the lead. I think
bomb there.
Yeah, back green landing onto that bomb, I think. So CB, not the start you wanted to see, and everything you kind of anticipated. That's why you tried to pick Mario Circuit, but didn't work. And
it's the little things too, right? Had Trix aligned his bomb on the tight line there, that could have wreaked some havoc. It could have bomb sniped the top 2 from PT, but since that didn't happen, now PT's starting to run away with this. If you can get past the first 10 to 15 seconds of this race on top, it's very hard to get you out.
Right.
And Trix just not getting the better of those exchanges, getting redded, getting card, getting bombed, and is not his night so far.
Well, who has shock is going to determine, I guess, the remainder of this one. Jazz, I think, not in last place, right?
No.
Yeah, so Yoshi seems to be very comfortable here, and Jazz choosing to part ways from going maybe back to try to catch up.
And Trix is opting to try to get Jazz. Maybe he has it in 9th here, and Jazz is Jazz has it, I believe. Just seeing that exchange right there.
Yeah, and Trix knows his chances are best spent on at least trying to spend a few minutes on trying to reach.
There's the Canada to UK lag there. Jazz holding on to that shot, even though Trix looked like he got it out of him there. Jazz showboating a little bit. Shot comes in. Kristen still in 3rd though, but not in position.
I think that's. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is the match at this point. There's only 2 more races left, and not much of CB to be seen at the top 2 of the positions. So it looks pretty difficult for them, and unfortunate for them. But hats off to PT for being able to make sure they took advantage of their course pick here.
Absolutely, and Jazz, he just with the showboat at the end. That's what you like to see. The confidence from this man, the confidence being exuded from this man is second to none, and he has done a fairly decent job in this particular war.
All right, CB with 3-5, 3-5, 7. That hurts. Mm-hmm. That hurts for sure.
Yeah, and Prove in the first 15 to 20 seconds of that race, Jazz had a decent break. That's because he went backward, and Prove opted to go for the 9th place box, I believe, but doesn't win out, does pull a bill. If he did pull Shrooms or Star, I think they would have been neck and neck, considering that Jazz had a little bit of a break. But, Jazz confident in his bagging strats, confident in his lines in the end, just getting the shock and that just proved to be the end right there for CB, since they lost their top spots when they did have it for a slight second with that back spam on the bomb cart from Matt. So
DK Summit is the call here for CB. That's oh wait, is it actually no? This is gonna be Mario Circuit. DK Summit the call by PT this time around. It's a 48-point differential here, so again, Shandas are looking slim. They'll have to all run, and you can tell from their course alone. Their course pick alone. They're trying to do, but gonna be a lot harder to do on a cannon track and win in a 5v4 up in the front.
Certainly, and in this particular track, I know that PT are fairly consistent at. So considering that they are starting top 2, is Alex going to break this red though? He has a decision to make. Does he want to use the? Okay, breaks anyway.
Good for him there. First place, not too shabby here for Alex. Of course, curious to see. I feel like if you're PT, you're feeling good about starting here, just given the spots they started off at. Alex looking very slick.
And CB are going all run here. And that's a very bold decision, considering that you're still mathematically in it with 2 to go. I mean,
yeah, they just have to, really. Like, their hopes at winning a race, like 2 races in a row, right, by that same kind of amount that gets them up on a race by like what 20 points or something like that. Like, that's their best bet. They have to be perfect if they do like bag both last races. So they try the 5v4. I think it's the right call here.
Kristen has to make it here. This is absolutely vital for him to make it. And Trix misses it himself, holding a star though. Maybe got put off a little bit by Kristen with those reds revolving around him. But in the end, I just think it was a little bit of a flub there from Trix. So that could be wraps. Yep.
Yeah, it is, unfortunately. That's going to be PT with the shock. Not going to be predicted or predictable by Trix's part. And that should be the match. But we'll see at least how it turns out. Alex at least is doing plenty fine in his book. This is A-okay and comfortable for him, and it seems like the team. Oh, I might have spoken too soon. Okay, it does land just by a wee smidge it there towards the end. In the meantime, Trix goldening up, looking for any scraps of points he can get, but it's going to be probably a little bit too late to make a comeback here in the race or in the match. So seems like PT's going to go ahead in this one, 1-0 for them, and going to the next one. I forget. I think it was CB that hosted this one, right? So not only are they going to have to go into a match with the mentality that, you know, after losing a game you can have, going to be going in with worse spots to start off soon and able to. I mean, I feel like that's what you call probably like the ability to tilt a team a bit more, is just by having that up factor and being able to like. Yeah, like having a 2-4-6 position and is harder to work with than 1-3-4-5, and maybe that's how they start losing match 2 immediately, just like that too. Certainly. So CB's got to keep the mentality in check.
Mm-hmm. And CB, we're doing okay for the first half of that war. You know, it was fairly back and forth, but the second half of the war, I feel like the biggest factor was the shocks. I did mention in the beginning of the cast that the shocks weren't going to play too much of a factor. It was going to be the consistency in the running, but both teams were fairly even in the running, you know, trading spots back and forth. So in the end, it was the shock that proved to be the end-all be-all of that war. Jazz doing what he does best, securing the 10th place shocks, you know, securing those winning races for his team. So props to Jazz, props to PT for taking match 1. We'll see how well they can keep up the momentum.
You said Jazz is streaming, right?
Jazz is, well, he said he was going to. I'm not entirely sure if he is or not right now.
Would be cool to take a peek at that if...
He's not right now.
Okay, never mind. Not gonna do it. Yeah, and maybe, Charge Brigade able to bounce back in a way we didn't see in the first round, but looking ominous here. And I wonder if they make any subs. I wonder if that is a move in play for them, and if that's something that they feel able to do right now. We'll see. But last race coming up, UGC and MC coming a race a little bit too late here. You would have loved to see this with the all-run strat, maybe last race where they could have salvaged something, but this often being the track pick of those going all-run just because it's short, short, has a shortcut to be able to catch up with, but you can still somehow, in some situations, still front run it.
You can, yeah. I mean, you can if you have shrooms, right? You can just take the cut once, you can hold the shrooms for the next lap, take cut again. And that's really the only way to catch up in this track. Other than that, it's narrow pathway after narrow pathway, back spam spot after back spam spot. And it is a team track, believe it or not. This is a track in which you could run as a team.
Right. All right, well, Tricks, well, it seems like their team is doing plenty fine right now. Top 2. Star being held by Alex. You love to hold these at this point. Lap 2 shocks aren't the fan favorite here, I'd say, right. Especially in the team capacity. So good on Alex to hold. And curious what the bagging situation looks like. Are you able to notice?
I'm not sure about the bagging, but I found it interesting because Trix took, not Trix, Zero took a bit of an iffy line, but I think he intentionally slowed down. Not enough to make it predictable, but, you know, he quote-unquote failed there. And Derek did not predict that, and he was the one that got booed in the end.
Well, Star coming out, Bill coming out as well. Everyone's going to dodge, I guess. At this point, it doesn't really matter, does it? Star for Alex, going to change you a 5th place single shroom. Lucky little winner there, and he's going to go for his teammate just a bit. Maybe to see if he can rack some points up for him, himself, and him. Single shroom. Is it going to face any blue shell troubles? That's a chill time here for Alex and for everyone else. They are going and finishing the race, kicking and screaming.
Yeah, and it would have been nice for CB to finish off with a little bit of pride there, but yet another good race for Phantasmagoria, just to put the nail in the coffin there and just to show the world, hey, look, we're dominating CB right now. And let's see if they can keep up that momentum, because CB are in a bit of a hole, and as of late, they've kind of fizzled out in regards to like the summer split and this particular tournament getting kind of wiped out by KG. All the while, PT kept it fairly close against MW, at least in the second match. So PT proving to be the better team, and recency bias is a thing. I mentioned that earlier. It is a thing.
We'll see if the recency bias, sheds light, or if it really just is going to point us in the wrong direction for analysis here.
Yeah, for entertainment's sake, we would like to see CB pull it back here. We'll see what happens.
Yeah. Well, I think we'll be able to see after a little quick intermission, PT take up hosting, and we'll see how they are able to leverage the host advantage for their first races, but not anytime soon and not before a quick little break, I think.
Yeah.
But so far, I think, so I expect maybe to see CB change things up a little bit, and we could see a sub come out. Nothing too guaranteed. I mean, we were talking about how Christian's role in the lineup could be flexed out a little bit, but I'm curious what the results were, especially even just like a table, what that's looking like for after.
Honestly, I think Kristen did his part.
I really did it good. Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
He did what he needed to do in the races that he needed to be up there. Like if he needed to be up in the front, he was. I just think that in the end, it was 1, the shocks, and 2, just the GP3 performance. GP1 and GP2 were okay, but GP3, the likes of Trix and Zero were really nowhere to be found. So in the end, those 2 factors played into Phantasmagoria's win there. But yeah, we will take a short break.
Cool.
We'll be coming at you guys in about maybe 5 minutes or so. Hopefully these guys don't take too long. So Charge Brigade versus Phantasmagoria, match 2 coming right up. Stay tuned.